Hey everybody, I'm Nina Taylor.
And I'm Bishop Ernest E. Richard Jr. We want to welcome you to our year-end review.
Mhm.
Nina and I decided to do this video so that you can kind of get a recap of what's taking place for the year 2020, 2023. Now, I do want to say up front, if we miss a couple of pieces, we're going to need you to email us at MSN Nina Taylor and let us know what we missed. But in the meantime, Nina, why don't we start off? We know that the year was a slow start,
Mhm.
but as we progressed, we started seeing some phenomenal things happen. Gospel music to me has hit an all-time high. I think this past year was a record year, not just for gospel music in particular, but specific artists. So why don't we start in that area? January, tell me about your month of January or what you found or what happened.
Well, it like you said, we were still kind of coming out of COVID. Everybody was starting to ease up a little bit in 22, but
Mhm.
23, by the time 23 rolled around, we were like so done with it and ready to kind of get back to some sense of normal life. So the music was great. A lot of folks
Yeah.
confessed that they were, hey, I was just in the studio, I was writing. So a lot of great music, if anything good came out of COVID. JJ Harrison started off the year. Remember, I never heard him sing before myself.
Uh-huh.
I'm used to him with the choir. So you remember he had that song Thankful, which was just
Yeah.
phenomenal. And he just, boom, it was one of the big songs at the beginning of the year. I was shocked because, like I said, I've never heard him sing myself.
Now, I'll tell you honestly, I've heard JJ sing. As you already know, we're very well acquainted. We're from the same region.
Mhm.
And I can take it back to the days of Turner's Faith Temple when Youthful Praise and JJ got started and the late Sean Brown. But we're not going to talk about that too far. I've heard him sing a couple of times, and and I don't want to go too far back, but I got to tell you when everybody really got a good taste of JJ Harrison. You
Mhm.
remember his song Incredible God?
Mhm.
That was when JJ was introduced. He has not stopped rolling since. And you are right. Thankful got the year kicked off because it made us reflect on what we had been through and
Mhm.
what we had dealt with and the
Yes.
struggles, the loss of loved ones because of COVID and the various sicknesses that took place. Finding out in California that they were stacking bodies in refrigerated containers. I mean, people dying at a rapid rate, but then Thankful comes out and it sort of kind of just eased your mind and started setting your soul on fire. I don't know about you, but it
Mhm.
brought me back in focus with
Yes.
where God wanted to take us. So I do agree with you on that. And to you, JJ Harrison, if you're watching this video, and you better be watching, we appreciate you. We want to say thank you for your contributions in the year 2023. We've had some more
Mhm.
take place. And I know you got another. Throw them out there, and I promise you, push it for the fences.
Well, another one, and this was kind of a different song. Jonathan McReynolds, to
Yes,
him doing the sweet ballads, and
yes,
so he came out with "This Is Your World." He's basically saying, "Look, God, this is your world. You can do
yes.
whatever you want to do with it, and that's fine with us." It was a great song. I
It
thought
really was.
it was different. I think it was kind of different than anything that was out at the beginning of the year.
Well, you know what? Think
Mhm.
about this. I know traditionally we're used to the songs, I Surrender All. What do you think Jonathan was saying in that song?
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
is your world. All right, we're going to do it your way, your will, not mine, your world. When Jonathan, and you know what? I got to say this. I love Jonathan McReynolds, but when I first heard him sing, I said, ain't no man supposed to be singing that high. But hey, listen, everybody's unique. Everybody can't, we used to hear no, 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 no. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
oh well, we way up there and said, go on, Jonathan,
Mhm.
sing. On top of the fact that I loved him, and I know some of you folk gonna think I'm a little corny, but I loved him in Sunday Best. I think he was one of the best judges Sunday Best has ever had. I
Really?
gotta say that. I loved him.
Sunday best, really? Hmm.
The Jonathan Sunday best. I mean, I haven't seen it in a while, but I seen some of the old replays. But I loved his analytics and when he would turn around, when he had to give advice. I mean, I love Jonathan McReynolds to me is laid back and
Mhm.
down to earth. I like that
Absolutely.
individual. You know, I told you the story, and I'm going to leave names out of this to protect the not so innocent. I I went to the Stellars one year and had to tell a particular artist, look, you eat, sleep, drink, use the bathroom the same way I do. Get off your high horse. Jonathan McReynolds is nothing like that. And I love that about him. You know, I really do.
Hmm.
All right.
Do you remember also a new artist? His name was Otis Kemp, and
Yes.
he just kind of came out of nowhere. He
Mm-hmm.
had a big song at the beginning that kind of came out at the beginning of the year, Daily Bread. Um, like, who
Yes.
is this guy? Where did he come from? I still haven't found too much about him, but
Mm-hmm.
that was a very popular song too, along with Marcus Jordan, who we've
Yes.
yeah, Marcus has had a couple of songs that have done quite well, but remember he had called on the name and that was all
That was a yeah.
yeah.
But you know what? And I expect
Mhm,
to hear more from them. But Otis
mhm.
Kemp, you know, and Daily Bread was a needed song.
Yeah.
I
Mhm,
mean, again, it was a song that caused us to really focus and to come back into focus. And to me, 2023 has been the centrality of 20. And when you look at every song we've listened to, the word focus pops up in quite a few of these songs. And not the word itself, but the theme,
mhm,
focus, pops up in here.
mhm.
Otis just being part of the fabric that was weaved and woven that made the blanket that covered us for this particular year. I'm happy that he came out and was who he is, had this opportunity. And we know what I like about that, Nina. We can talk about the Otis Kemps, the Marcus Johnsons, and people like that. We had a lot of artists that came out that we ordinarily would not have had the opportunity to
You think
hear.
so? Why? Why do you think that?
I mean, we take a girl, Angel from Trinity 5-7. We'll talk
Mhm,
about her in just a few minutes. Out the
mhm,
Clear Blue Sky becomes a solo artist and has one of her first hits, Speak. I mean, come on, we've had quite a few. We already knew about James Greer and we already knew about the Anthony Browns, but we've also heard, and I mean, I know this is more toward the beginning of the year as opposed to the middle of the year, but
mhm.
Jabari Johnson bounced back with something new. And
Yeah,
we had a lot of different artists. I mean, people that you ordinarily, those are not what you call quote unquote household names, but
yeah.
they are soon to be.
Mhm.
Soon to be. So we got some, and then of course we know about our regulars, the Tasha Cobb Leonards and the
Yes.
Kaylin Cars and
Mhm.
the Erica Campbells. We can go on down the list, man. If we sat here and made a grocery list this high, we probably get one about my height. I don't need to stand up. I guess I should sit here.
Well, it was, it was I think it was a good year musically.
Yes.
Really do think it was a very good year. Tim Bowman with
Yes.
City. You remember that song? That was sort of at the beginning of the year also. Demetrius West and Three
Yes.
Voters from Indianapolis. They had a big song, Great God. I was really happy for them. And they've just been everything they've come out with has pretty much made it to the top 10. So we're ecstatic about that, with them being from Indianapolis, one of my old
Uh-huh.
grounds. Um,
Okay.
who
That's one of
else
your
had,
family records, huh?
see, of course, Ty Tribbett, he's just one after the other. Maverick City Music.
Yes. Now they're one to me that came out of nowhere.
Uh-huh.
And I guess I shouldn't say it that way, but you have to say it that way
Mhm.
because Maverick City Music took the gospel world by storm.
You think so?
And I think so. In the world of praise and worship, or should we say the worship setting,
Hmm.
Maverick City Music just elevated to a whole new level. And I mean, I
Do
like
you
their
think it's
setup.
because they did the song, they teamed up with Kirk Franklin, or you
Exactly.
that they were going to do it anyway?
Naomi Rain, don't forget her. I mean,
Oh,
there
yeah,
were
absolutely.
quite a few people that they had in there. And, that mix, it tells me something about us. I always wondered how is it that the R&B artists can collaborate and work together
Mhm.
and come up with masterful songs, and then the church world has an issue. Well, I kind of found the secret to why.
Hmm.
Hey, you know, the scripture plainly says, how can two walk together except they be agreed? And the minute we started walking together, we
Hmm.
started making crazy music. Even today, you got artists teaming up and going out on tours, old and new. And I love that about where we're going.
Hmm.
Now, in ministry.
Well, that pretty much, those were the big songs at the beginning of the year. Uh,
Hmm.
the Faith City song, of course, had Leandria Johnson. Now it was like just before COVID, Leandria was everywhere. I mean, everything she did was she was all over the place. Now she's still singing. I saw a few videos, but seemed like she's kind of like quiet, just a little bit quiet. Other than that song, I'm waiting for her to do another solo project on her own. And she's so busy all the time, with traveling and singing with other people. Now, she was
Yeah,
on that song, which did very well for Tim Bowman and the Faith City Choir. But
yeah.
let's move into the summer. The summer months, I mean, the music was incredible over the summer too. Don't you agree with that? Now, if
Go
you
ahead.
remember when I went to Dallas in June for the very
Uh-huh.
first time for the Rhythm of Gospel Music Awards, which was in
Uh-huh.
Dallas, and I was excited for several reasons. It was my first time. I had a nomination, and I was just looking forward to seeing, a lot of my friends, people that I worked with in Texas for years. So that was a fantastic trip. Let
Yes.
me ask you this. And I've asked a lot of other people this, including artists. Do you think like all these award shows and different things that, is this necessary?
Say,
Mm.
and unfortunately, we live in a time where people put certain things on certain levels.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like in the sports world for baseball, you have a triple A team, a
Mm-hmm.
double A team, a single A team, and then the major league team. So you can start out in AAA and work your way up and eventually get to the big leagues. And unfortunately, in the gospel music world, it should never be like that, but that's really where it is. So when you find these different award shows that recognize ministries, I'm going to show you something. And I'm going to go back to my friend JJ Harrison and Youthful Praise.
Mm-hmm.
They were a local group in the Connecticut area. And the station that I used to work for, we started playing them, and then they got hold of it in New York, and they started spreading like wildfire. And
Mm-hmm.
when I say like wildfire, inside of 2 years, Youthful Praise was a national entity.
Yeah.
And this is what's happening for a lot of these artists. You know, we're finding these individuals that they start small, they start local,
Yeah.
and you know as well as I do. Once you've conquered quote unquote the local stage, you want to move to the next level. So you're not doing as much local stuff, but you're doing regional. Next thing you know, you're doing national, and next thing you know, you've got a name. And all I'm simply saying is they are necessary for the building of the character. When people get to know who you are, when they know you're a Ty Tribbett who was a local minister in Philadelphia and was discovered and asked to help with the project. I'm trying to think of the name of the project where he did that song with his group, well, Greater G at the particular time. It's on the tip of my head. I'll call you about 4 o'clock in the morning and tell you exactly what the name of the song is.
And you
But
should
anyway,
get me back for calling you at 1 last night. Right.
no, that's fine. You know, we had something to talk
Yeah.
about. I mean, and we're going to talk about that just a little bit later too, because we
Mm-hmm.
got some great news for those of you who are watching.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a development process, and we need that. Everybody wants to come out and be the number one artist, and you're never going to be number one if you don't first know how to handle success. You
Right.
and I both know that. We've got one that I know we're going to talk about in just a little while. This young man, and of course, you know who I'm talking about. That's my. I'm gonna stop. Okay, but we'll talk about that in just a few minutes.
Well,
Now, folks, Nina already think there's something wrong with me, people. So
yeah, well, we all know it is, but we I was saying that the caliber of talent in Dallas was
phenomenal.
way up here. A lot of the songs that we've been playing, a lot of
Hmm.
debut songs came from me meeting these artists in Texas. I mean,
Uh-huh.
just the level of talent was incredible. incredible. It's like we're, one couple that I met, the Blairs, they were
Uh-huh.
just incredible. Their song, I'm looking for that song to be in the top 40 any day.
All right.
I met them in Texas, and they
Mhm.
were just absolutely incredible. But one other person I wanted to mention when I got back, well, actually, just before I left, I got a call from Jeff P. Key. Now,
Okay.
remember I told you about him? He's the cousin of
Uh-huh.
P. Key, and he had a song that was so beautiful called Sparkle. And I said, well,
Uh-huh.
I get back, we're gonna rock with that. But I saw him just before, actually the day before I left for Texas. And when I got back, the song was just beautiful. Now, I don't know what people were expecting because he's John P. Key's cousin.
Uh-huh.
They're expecting him to be like him, but the song was pretty contemporary. It could actually cross over to both pop, R&B, and gospel radio because of the message of the song. It's a beautiful song called
Okay.
Sparkle. And
All right.
people were calling me, and I said, well, what do you expect? Just because somebody is related to somebody doesn't mean that they're going to have the same
The
flavor.
same caliber.
Right, because I
Yes.
think that CC has a different flavor from what BB has as solo
Hmm.
artists. And
Uh-huh.
they're all different as solo artists,
Hmm.
but when they come together as a group, that's one
Wow.
thing. But as a soloist, it's another. But that was a great trip. And I did have a nomination. I was so busy working and interviewing people and meeting artists that I forgot that I was also a nominee, which I said, oh yeah, I am nominated. I forgot all about it. And then I actually won for best promotional media, which was for the gospel news. So that
Beautiful.
was, I said, wow, didn't expect it. Like I said, I was going to go to Texas. I was really excited. I was telling everybody at school, Texas next week, don't call me, So, so it was just one of those things where I went there expecting nothing, but ended
Uh-huh.
up getting so much out of that trip.
Well, and you saying that, and while you were
Mhm.
in Texas and collecting accolades that you knew nothing about, I won't discuss the fact that I left the country and went to France. Okay.
See?
I was a year early. I should have
Yeah.
waited a year. I
Hmm.
could have gone to the Olympics, but that's all right. We bless God. But and I did get the chance to talk to you. And when I heard you called me, and I said, "Oh wow," And then I want to thank all of you who were watching from Texas that took good care of Nina, because I thought I was going to have to come back and open up a case. But
Oh
okay,
yeah, I was taking. I bet I gained like 7 pounds that week,
leave
but
that part
it's
alone.
eating good every day.
I'll leave that part alone. Okay, I
Now,
only want that. One thing, by the way, you unmarried men that think about getting married, never discuss a woman's weight. Okay, that's just
never.
don't ever talk about.
After that, then we rolled around. We were home for a couple of weeks, and then, of course, the Stellars was in July, and
Mm,
Pastor Mike Jr. was everything at the
he just
Stellars. I
mopped
mean,
up.
it's like everybody else just should have went home, shouldn't even stayed because he just and that happens. Jonathan McReynolds has done that, won everything. Anthony Brown has won everything. He had all the trophies. He was sitting in
Uh-huh.
a little circle and they just stacked the trophies around him. He had them all. And that's the way it is.
My goodness,
Some years it's just your year.
that's what it
And you
is.
just
Just your
love
year.
on it and just enjoy it because, it may never happen again. Then again, it might, but he had a great song, Impossible, which is still one of
Yeah.
my all-time favorite songs, which he won quite a bit for that. And the duet that he did with Kier Sheard, which they
Yes.
opened up the Stellars with that, which was incredible. And he was just so grateful. See, they didn't show a lot of the parts. They only show, if you really count all the awards that we actually see from the Stellars,
Uh-huh.
we only see what, about 4 or 5? Not
Four
very
or five,
many.
I would say, and then there's the mentions. So you're talking maybe between mentions and actual presentations, maybe
Mhm,
15, give or take. Now, you got a little surprise in that whole thing,
mhm,
okay? When you look, for instance, they started a few years ago, the Albertina Female Artist of the Year. I
mhm.
almost guarantee you don't even remember. You might not remember who won, but we talked about this individual in not one, not two, but three different shows and said this young lady is getting ready to take off like nobody's business.
Now I'm trying to remember, was it Corinne Hawthorne or was it Lena
No,
Miles?
nope. Remember, I
You know
used to
what?
turn. I would say her name and the first letter of her name, I would say with such force, you know how, what do you say when you don't say it when you make a mistake? I'm gonna stop messing with you. I used to,
Oh, Doe, that's right. That's right. See, I forgot. Yeah, absolutely.
but
Doe
I
is incredible. And
was
a lot of
happy
people
for
don't
her.
know that she came from the group Forever Jones. Her
And
name
see,
is
you
Doe
told me that.
Jones. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that was that group. I got them and the Walls group mixed up because of their sound. But
Uh-huh.
she's from another singing, very talented family. And
I'm telling you.
she absolutely, it was absolutely 2022 was her year for sure.
Hmm. It really was. The
Mhm,
other thing that I noticed, and of course, we talked about Maverick City Music. There was another young lady who
mhm.
won New Artist of the Year, and she was in our top 10, I think, on two different occasions. It may have been three. I'm not really. You remember Lena Bird Miles?
Yeah, that's
She was in there for New Artist of the Year. And of
mhm.
course, Pastor Mike, I mean, every time you look down, now, who do you think was Choir of the Year that year? Who do you think should have been Choir of the Year?
I don't remember. I mean, it was just so many. I think everybody who won was well deserved. And it was like anybody in those categories, they were all so tremendous. Um, was it Ricky Dillard?
Nope, I'll let you in the secret. To me, he had the longest song title in history.
Oh, okay.
And you already know because when we go to say it, we'd have to almost race the clock to get it all in.
Well, who was it?
Brett Jones. It was Brett
Brent
Jones.
Jones. He won for
Yeah,
Best Choir.
remember? He won for Choir of the Year. I mean, and
Mm.
his title, y'all ready for this? Nothing else matters. Instead of complaining, praise him.
Oh yeah, that was definitely
I,
one of the big songs.
I don't know if he meant that to be a sermon or a song, but whatever it was, he won. And we're happy for you. Brett, we're not making fun of you. We just like to have fun of it. And then, of course, you already mentioned the producer of the year in Ty Tribbett. I
Mhm.
mean, he has done so many projects and has worked with so many people and has done so many different things. And you can't help but love Ty because he's just highly energetic. I don't know if you've ever been to a Ty Tribbett concert, but I went to one a few years ago and child, I was tired just watching. Okay.
Sure,
I,
absolutely. Yeah, I was
I
looking
was
forward.
tired just
He was
watching.
not on the leg of the tour that came through my town, so I didn't get to see
Mhm.
him. But that was still the reunion tour was
Yo,
fantastic.
I'll tell you, he was sedated sort of when he came. I saw him in
Uh-huh.
Bridgeport, Connecticut, because my home state is
Yeah.
Connecticut.
Mhm.
And of course, I went up there for an award show
Mhm.
that particular time,
Mhm.
and I actually hosted the show. And then, I told you the story about tickets and how all that thing
Mhm.
happened.
Mhm.
People found out I was in town. Boom, here we got this. I didn't even know the reunion tour was in town. I love
You
Ty,
got to
but
go.
yeah,
But
I
that's the way
hosted.
you want to go, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and
And
get good
on the
seats.
when I say on the floor, center stage, I mean, you couldn't ask for better fit, but to God be the glory on that. But there were a lot of other ones, traditional, and of course, we love Sicardi Cortez, who
Yes,
won
I was really
traditional.
happy for him. Mhm.
Yes, male artist of the year.
Mhm.
And then, I mean, there were just basically so many different categories. And as you said, Pastor Mike just mopped the floor. He
Mhm.
just mopped the floor. And the Stellar Awards this summer, I really wish I could have been there for the Stellars, but
Mhm.
I need to start going back. I'm just going to say it like
Yeah.
that. I bless God. I just kind of had to bow out for a few minutes to take care of business. God started elevating and transitioning me into other areas. But I'm going to say this: we have got to go back to the Stellars.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I'm gonna say it, whoever's watching this video, we should be your new video hosts. Okay.
Well, okay, let's roll along. When the fall rolled in,
Hmm.
uh, the fall started off pretty good. We had a lot of
Yeah.
great music. A lot of the songs that came out then are still making their way through the charts right now.
Yes, they
Kirk
are.
Franklin with his solo songs, and a lot of the ones that are on in the top 40 now were making their way in the charts in September and October. And
Amen.
then in October, we both went to Atlanta for the Spin Awards, which honor broadcasters in gospel music only.
Amen.
So this is the
Amen.
place to be. If you're a gospel DJ, announcer, broadcaster, you have to be at the Spin Awards. There's no
Amen.
other place you need to be. And that was your first time. My
Yes, it was.
I've been going since 2018. So
Uh-huh.
and they started it in 17. So I've been every year except for the first year. And I
Uh-huh.
went in 18 just to kind of check it out. And then in 19, I was nominated, which, I was
Multiple times.
very excited. I only had two nominations the first year. The second year, I think I had like
22 nominations the second year, right?
no. The third year, I think I had like 11 nominations.
I'm gonna tell
Yeah,
you.
so many, and I didn't win anything, but I still wanted to go. It's just one of those events where even if you don't win anything, you just want to be
Just
there.
want to be there.
I want to be
Exactly.
there with the people that I have been working with, majority of these people for years. Some of them
Uh-huh.
met at the Spin Awards, and we start to build a relationship from there. So it is definitely the place for networking with other broadcasters who do what you do. It's the place to be. Now you were super, super excited. I mean, I was
Oh
so
my God.
angry, almost missing my flight. Not
Yeah.
being able to get a ride, nobody answering the phone, and me having to take the train at night alone. Not
Uh-huh. And you know what? I so deeply apologize for that, but by the time I realized where you were at the hotel, you
yes.
know, and I so appreciate it. But me being there for the first time, meeting the people that I met, many of them I knew nothing about.
Mhm,
And I learned them quickly. And some of them we became friends almost instantaneously. Others we kind of, I
mm,
don't want to use the word tolerate, we celebrated
mm,
lightly
mm.
each other. And I appreciate them still. But the thing that really tickled me was the very fact, you know, how you said you came, you went to Dallas and you had no expectation. I went with no expectation. I had no way. I knew I was nominated for a few categories, but I wasn't even thinking about winning.
Mm-mm.
And I'm sitting there, and when they announced co-host of the year, Bishop Ernest Richard, I'm looking for Bishop Ernest. Oh, wait a minute, time out. That's me. Hold on, that's me. My God, you know.
Oh
No,
yeah.
I'm sorry. That was a real
I was
reaction.
shocked too because I haven't seen anybody who was there for the first time and actually won. That was the
And
first time.
I took out some pretty heavy competition. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You know, I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
and of course, the host of that year's show, and I'm gonna leave his name out because if you want to know who the host of the show was, go to the Spin Awards Facebook page and you could see all that.
Mhm.
Very good person, though. I really had a chance to talk with him, take a picture with him. We had a chance to have conversation, and I just so appreciated everything. I mean, when I say everything, you guys were supportive, you were supportive, and I thank you for allowing me to come on and grace your wonderful show, The Gospel Countdown. I'm telling you honestly, I'm having a ball. And folks, you don't know this, but this young lady right here, I was getting ready to walk away from radio. I mean, when I say walk away, I was done with radio. I was sick of all that was going on. But
Mhm.
Nina came by and said, "Come and do this with me." I said, "Okay, let's give it one last ride." And it's like the Kentucky Derby. We heading down the stretch, and here they come. It's Nina
Absolutely.
Taylor and the Bishop. No, let me stop. That's me. But anyway, I'm having a ball. I am
Yeah.
really seriously having a blast. And then I discovered that we are internationally known, Nina,
Yeah.
out in
Absolutely.
Paris, France,
Mhm.
literally in Paris, France. Didn't go into the radio station over there, but went by the radio station. Happened to mention the Gospel Countdown. Remember the picture I sent you?
Mhm.
They mentioned the Gospel Countdown when I told them who I worked with. So you got a name out there beyond on the other side of the pond.
Absolutely. Doesn't surprise me a bit, especially
It,
in Europe, and
mm,
especially in Africa.
mm,
I get so many emails. They just email me directly. I say, go to their website, but they don't do that. They oh, they'll call you at 3 a.m. in the morning and go, oh, it's 6 o'clock, it's 9 o'clock here. Yeah, and
exactly.
you're like, oh, it's 3 o'clock. You're trying to wake up and be coherent. But it's wonderful.
You
And it was
can't.
really
I
cool
mean,
meeting uh s- some of our our African brothers in Atlanta who are living in
Yes.
London doing a show, and
Mm-hmm.
they were like, "You guys got to come to London. You know, they love you
And
in
we
London.
gotta
You
go.
got to come."
We're going.
So, oh yeah, I said definitely, we'd love to come.
We're
I love
going.
London, you know. So
I'm telling you, save your nickels and dimes and quarters because we fly in first. We fly in first class. I am not
excellent.
riding. I'm not riding coach to London.
Oh
Okay.
no, you going coast
No,
to London? That is put me in a
we.
straitjacket, right?
You, oh, but here's how you're gonna sit, Nina.
No. Uh,
That's what you're gonna be. And there's gonna be some guy twice your size on the right, and
that's
some other guy
it.
twice your size on the left. And this is how
Mhm.
you gotta sit the entire ride.
No
Okay.
way. No,
That's what I'm
I'm gonna
trying to
be
say.
asleep.
But we're gonna get
Uh,
to go. But
uh,
then we had, go ahead.
no, I was saying, I won two awards, which, like I said,
Yes,
I
you
didn't
did.
expect. After the win in 22, I don't have to ever win anything ever again. That's the way I felt, like I'm just here. I'd be here anyway. It's a great time.
Mm-hmm.
It's your first time. I was just looking forward to just being in Atlanta and just doing what we
Yes.
do, with the sightseeing,
Mhm.
hanging out and eating all that good food. Uh, I won for
Yes.
best late evening show and also
Yes.
a small market show of the year, which I've won
Mhm.
that in 21, which
Mhm.
is unbelievable, unbelievable. So I have a total of 5 spin awards now, which is beautiful. Like I said, I don't have to ever win anything at all after winning that many and over the
I
past.
think like this, two more of those, and you have to build a trophy case. Okay.
Well, like I said, I already have to build. I took home several awards last year, and
Mm-hmm.
once I won this year, I do need a trophy case. And my mom and I were talking about it. My sister said she was going to take all her books out of the bookshelf, and then I could put them there because we have like million. We have a huge bookshelf, but it's full of
Mm-hmm.
books. So she was saying that
That's
she,
what, no, go
yeah.
for the trophy case. You do better with the trophy case, and you'll find a nice one for under $1,000. I
Oh, under
promise.
$1,000. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here we are. Let's see. We had a tremendous year, and although I do invite you all to go to my website for everything, see Bishop, to email us and all that. We now have a YouTube channel. So
Yes.
we haven't put anything on it yet, but we have a YouTube channel, and this will probably be the first video on it. So the YouTube channel, just go to the countdown. You'll see our picture, and you're in the right spot. But that is, yeah, we didn't have one. I said we need a YouTube channel. So now we have one because we're looking forward to doing more and more great things in 24,
Yes.
and we're going to have a lot of video footage. I'm going to put the footage on there from Atlanta and some of the other things that I did this year. So it's going to be an awesome, awesome year. I'm looking forward to it, even greater for.
Well, I'm going to tell you honestly, so excited for 2024, what's getting ready to happen. We brought the year down basically to a close, and we had a little race going during the course of the year to find out which artist was going to be in the number one spot the most. And I think we narrowed it down to three, if I'm not mistaken. I know
Yeah,
we had
we
Pastor
said
Mike,
Pastor Mike,
Tamala Man,
Family Man, and
and
Ty Tribbett, I believe those
that was exactly it.
are.
Each one, I think, taking the number one spot 4 times. So, to God be the glory. And it's not about who takes the top spot. All I know, and then Kirk made a push late with his song All Things. I think he got in 3 times,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had somebody return, leave number one and come back. And that was in late November, early December. And it escapes me right now. It escapes me for the moment, but it's like,
It was Anthony Brown who did that.
yes,
It was Anthony
yes.
Brown who did that.
Now,
So
you know
got
what?
a few
We got to
weeks
put him in
himself.
second tier. We got to put him in third place, fourth place, whatever, because that makes 3 for him. You know. Now, if he
Yeah.
can post number one tonight, that no, let me stop. That's not going to happen.
Well, we'll see who is, over the next day or so, who is in the number one spot, because that would be for the previous week, I guess. But
Amen.
yeah, he's had a great year. Let's see, Jacqueline Carr, and some of them they made it all the way to number 1, but it was only for like a week or so. You
Amen.
know, I
Amen.
think like a week was average, 2 weeks was, oh, okay. So
Mhm.
very few actually made it back 4 times, except for those 2 artists. So if I have to say who was the top artist of 23, I would say once again it would be Pastor Mike Jr. That's what I'd say.
That's all I'm gonna say.
And I would put
Mhm.
Tamala Mann second. Her song, The
Yes,
did
yes,
great.
yes,
That was at the beginning of the year. In that top 10, I would put JJ Harrison,
yes,
Erica
yes.
Campbell, uh,
Yep,
and Zacardi Cortez.
of course.
But
And we can't,
really, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing that song, Lord Do It For Me. I heard it
yeah,
several times when I was just happened to be scrolling social media yesterday. I heard it. So the song is still everywhere. I
and
put
it's still
uh,
playing.
Pastor S.Y. Younger with
Yes.
his song, his shouting song, you know,
Mm-hmm.
The Storm is Passing Over. I would put
Yes,
him in the top
yes.
10 as well. I would put him,
I would
and he
too.
was nominated for Stellar as well. Uh,
And I mean, I let's throw in one more. How about James Greer featuring Maurette Brown Clark?
absolutely.
That I loved that song. I'm
Mhm,
trying to tell you, and then of course I won't call him a newcomer because he's not necessarily a newcomer.
mhm,
Bishop Marvin Sapp is making noise, but he would be an honorable mention
mhm,
in my book.
mhm.
And then of course we gotta mention well, Anthony Brown would Speak to Me. That was in there for a good little while.
Jonathan McReynolds, put him
Yes,
in there as well into top songs of this year.
yes,
And the
yes,
ones that we mentioned earlier, JJ Harrison, which had a good
yes.
song at the beginning of the year and at
Thank
the
you.
beginning of the year. So I would put him in the top 10 too.
Yes. I mean, we got a lot to look forward to.
Yeah. Mhm,
2024 is going to offer us a lot
mhm,
in terms of ministry. And see, the thing is, and I think I shared this with you, Nina, and I'm going to say it. Anytime I'm listening to a song, I should talk about me. And I can't say we on this, but I'm going to talk about me. I get my inspiration from the great Quincy Jones. Back in 1976, he had an album entitled What Make Stuff Like That was the name of the album.
mhm,
He had a song on there entitled What Good is a Song?
mhm.
And he had some words in that song that to me really made the difference. If I'm going to be listening to music for ministry, if I'm going to
Yeah.
listen to for uplifting, the words are simple. What good is a song if it can't inspire, if it has no message to bring? If the song cannot take you higher, then it's not good enough to sing. And in my book, if it ain't good enough to sing, it ain't good enough to play. And
Ooh,
that,
yes.
I've stood by that standard,
Mhm.
you know, and I have seen those songs that have met that standard time and time. I can't remember the days. I wish I could turn around and tell you I'm the happiest go lucky bishop you'll ever meet, but I have trials, troubles, and tribulations like everybody else. And it's always that one song that comes and ministers to you. Zacardi Cortez's song, Lord, Do It For Me. I
Mhm.
mean, I don't know about you, but I've had those moments where it seemed like I was standing still. Lord, hello, it's me, Lord. What are we going to do? I need you to do something here, Jesus.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
then I would hear that song, and I mean, when I say I heard like you, I heard that song everywhere. And it just ministered to me. And I was happy for what we're doing here. I'm grateful for you and I'm grateful for the year in review. I'm grateful for all the music and the people we have met. I'm grateful for and more importantly, I'm grateful for the general public
Mhm.
because without them, why would we be doing this? You
Absolutely.
know?
Mhm.
So I'm going to say, music preacher, Nina, I think I'm going to sign off
Okay.
and move forward. That is the key. That's our theme for 2024, moving forward. That's what we're going to do.
Absolutely. That's what
We're
we're
going to
gonna
move
do.
forward. There you go.
Anyway, so check us out on all social media outlets. Please do connect with us and check out our show, The Gospel Countdown, on a station near you.
Have a good day.